welcome back to the Pod of Thrones continuing coverage of San Diego Comic-Con 2019. This is a pretty cool one that we've got coming up here for you, except I can't really say that much about it because I wasn't even there. And unfortunately, Jennifer is not here either. She is out doing some stuff with her son, and she cannot record an intro with me right now. So Jennifer made it into one of the larger ballrooms where they do these, the pop culture panels about TV, movies, comics, etc. She got into the panel for NBC's The Good Place. I don't remember if we ever talked about that before. It's not exactly Pod of Thrones material, but we have been fans for a while now, and it's something that we watch. We enjoy it, but we watch it as a family with the kids. They really love it too. The Good Place has 3 seasons under its belt. It's coming up on its 4th and final season. They're going to wrap up the storyline. And I mean, what can I say? I don't want to spoil anything. The Good Place is a story about a lady named Eleanor. First and foremost, she's the first person we meet. And she dies, and she winds up in the Good Place, which, you could call it heaven, but it's not really what people would have pictured as heaven. And they don't get into religion. There's no mention of like a god in this show. It's just about a particular idea of the afterlife. So you move on to the good place or the bad place. The bad place does have torture and horrors in store for the people that wind up there. And the basic crux of the first season is that Eleanor can't figure out why she's in the good place because she doesn't think she was that good of a person. So I can't tell you much more than that because there's a lot of hilarious and really deep and interesting things that happen. There's philosophy and metaphysical concepts in this show. And it's just neat. And it's also a really good sitcom. Very funny. So I was not there for the panel. I can't tell you off the top of my head what the panel was about. I don't know what they talked about. I'm not even 100% sure who in the cast was there. I'm looking forward to listening to this myself. But I haven't done that yet. So I'm going to listen to it. You guys should listen to it, enjoy, or if you haven't seen The Good Place, maybe you should go watch that real quick. Each season's pretty short. It's on Netflix, 3 seasons. I think the 3rd season's there. But each season's only 10 episodes, half-hour sitcom model, so it will take you no time at all to get through the content. I highly, highly recommend it. So go forth, watch, and then enjoy this panel. And away we go.
Please welcome to the stage today's moderator that you all know as Shawn, Mark Evan Jackson.
Hi, bitches. Welcome to the 2019 Comic-Con International panel for NBC's The Good Place. I'm Mark Evan Jackson. I play Shawn. We are going to do what you've done before. We're going to have a panel. We're going to talk with some of my coworkers, and then you're going to get a chance to ask questions. So be prepared for those. Remember that questions begin with questiony words. Words like who and where and what and when, and not like, when I was pasting your garbage back together, like, stay out of our garbage. Won't you please help me welcome Manny Jacinto, Darcy Carden, Jamil, William Jackson Harper, Kristin, Ted Danson, Mike Schur, and Goddard.
Thank you for coming today.
We were just realizing that this is the last of the Comic-Cons for NBC's The Good Place.
Why did you just do that?
Why did we just do that?
Why did you just do that?
Kristin just did it.
Oh. I said it. Sorry.
There is one announcement that we need to make that's fun, and that is that at 1 o'clock this afternoon, the Season 3 gag reel will drop. So look for that because it's delicious. You are getting the bleeped version, which is slightly less fun, but is still pure magic. So we're going to talk for a little while, and then we will, I presume, line up in the aisles for questions. Keep your questions brief, please. Spare us the prefaces about the ways in which the show saved your life. We know. It saved all of ours as well. Darcy Carden.
Oh. Hi.
What did you do last Tuesday morning?
I woke up early.
You skipped the prefaces about why this show saved you.
I presented the nominations for the Emmys.
Oh.
Right?
Did anything of note happen?
Yeah, I think like Mahershala Ali is up for something, and like, okay, so Ted's up for Best Actor. And which honestly is kind of old news because that happened last year too. But the show was nominated for an Emmy. And we got a nomination for writing. And Maya Rudolph got another nomination for Guest Actor. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay, but that's pretty good.
It was good.
So that was very exciting.
Pretty good. Mike, we did one of these panels about a month ago at the Television Academy. And that's where you announced that Season 4 would be the last of NBC's The Good Place. Mm-hmm. Ted Danson, during that panel, told the audience how perfectly crafted and wonderful the finale is and how it so perfectly wraps up the story. And you said, thank you very much, that's nice. We haven't written it yet, right? We have a table read for those episodes on Monday. Have you written it now?
Yes, the finale is, the script is complete. We read it on Monday. The original plan was to send it to the actors last night. I then was convinced that was a very bad idea for two reasons. One of which is that it's a series finale. It's very emotional and it's very sad, and I didn't want it sort of hanging over people's heads. And also because we knew that if I did send it, Ted would spend this entire panel telling everybody exactly what happens in it. So just as like an insurance policy, we decided to hold off until tomorrow.
An insurance policy against Ted Danson.
That's right.
I'm sorry, against Emmy nominee Ted Danson.
By the way, 17-time Emmy nominee, y'all. 17. Which I think is like the most...
And I won twice. If it's baseball, I'm in trouble.
Kristin Bell. Happy 89th birthday, I guess? Is that...
Thank you much.
If you haven't seen the video of Kristin pointing the camera at herself and asking her daughters how old they think she just turned. At 1:08, after you've watched the gag reel, do that. Kristin, will you tell the story about how you found out that Season 4 would be the last of NBC's The Good Place?
Yeah, how I found out it would be the last?
Yes.
I was driving home coming home from Malibu. This is irrelevant. I was driving in a place that didn't have great service, and I saw Mike was calling me, and I said, "Hi, Mike," and he said, "Hey, want to talk to you." And every bone in my body immediately somehow knew that he was going to say we were either canceled or wrapping it up. And I said, before you finish, the only way that I'm going to be able to hear you out is if you promise to write me something immediately after the show ends. And he said, yeah, sure, I will. And I was like, okay, now go ahead. And he gave me the news that he has a ton of integrity, and the story showed him how it was going to end, and we were going to take that opportunity and wrap it up.
What if he was like...
Wait. Speaking of integrity, has he offered to write your script?
Not yet. But I just got confirmation a couple seconds ago that he's finished writing the finale, so I'm going to expect something by, I don't know, next Friday?
Well, yeah. We'll talk right after the read-through.
The rest of the cast, you've known this for some time. You've known that season 4 would be the last. It's bittersweet, is it not?
Well, Mike isn't writing us anything. I don't know about you guys anyway. Yeah, it's a tragedy to walk away from these people and from this show and from all of our amazing fans, because this has been the wildest experience of all of our lives. But also, it's so cool to know that we are completing the story as it was supposed to be completed, and I feel really proud and sad and happy. Yeah, it's a lot.
Darcy, Manny, Will, you've talked about it. I think each of you separately have framed it as a bit of a breakup. Like it seems like the right thing to do. And Darcy, you used the word cool a lot.
I did.
Not all of it seemed cool.
Right, just kind of like, oh, cool. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, cool. Right. Well, that's cool. That'll be cool. No, it does. It feels a little bit like a breakup when you are still in love with the person, but you know that it's not going to last or something. So it's like, well, I still love you, but let's end this in a way that feels good for everybody.
Darcy still loves you. That's got to feel good.
I'm in love with you. No, but it's sad as hell. We can say it's great, but it's sad. It sucks.
We hate Mike.
Emmy nominee Ted Danson. Did you already get another job?
Yes. That's how I handle breakups. You can't divorce me, I quit. Yes, I'm going to work with Tina Fey and Robert Carlock, and I'm going to play the mayor of Los Angeles.
Moments ago, you told me that that's the extent of what you know about the show.
Correct. I was given, though, for this show, a script before I had to choose.
He's saying, unlike with The Good Place, in which he didn't get a script and had to sign on before there was a script, he's, for some reason, for 4 years, still upset about that. It turned out okay, right?
Actually,
like, it turned out okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. No, he just said that, and I started to well up. It's coming, it did.
Yeah.
I'm going to interrupt. We're all so honored to be part of this show that Mike created. We're so honored that it fills a room for people who love it as well. We love that 12-year-old kids come up and watch it religiously. That, to me, means so much. We are so blessed, and we thank you so much for this incredible ride.
You're here.
Hold on. I know we're doing audience stuff later, but Ted, can you see that in the front row there's a baby child dressed as Michael?
Oh my God!
Sorry for all the attention, but this rules. Stand up, Michael. Hi, bud.
Hey!
Yeah, dude.
You rule.
That's great.
This has been the Good Place panel. That's lovely and amazing. Your love for the show is overwhelming and stunning, and the reason is friends. It's we thank you for that. It's pretty remarkable. William Jackson Harper. In hosting The Good Place, the podcast, and rewatching these episodes, it became clear, even more so than on first blush, that your performance as Chidi is the glue that makes a lot of this. You are the most grounded, the most powerful grappling hook to reality of any of the humans. You are the humanist of the Soul Squad, and you've really been the audience's guide through this very weird, smartest, dumbest show on television. My question is this: do you have any pets?
You're weird.
Well, yes, I do. His name is Chico the dog. He's a dog. And
what does his mouth look like?
Oh, he does?
In his ears?
Serious underbite. He's got one ear up, one ear down. He's from Puerto Rico. He's like part Chihuahua, part Boston Terrier, part Bulldog, part bottle caps, part trash bags. He's the best.
He's our mascot. He comes to set, and when he comes, we pull the art department pulls the dog beds out of the. If you look in the background, it says like dentist office. Just kidding, puppies. And there's puppy stuff, and we pull all the puppy stuff out. Then Chico plays with it and sits in the beds all day.
Yeah.
Well, does Chico have a theme song?
Oh, yay. And don't worry. And don't worry, because nobody has their phones up right now.
Yeah. This was composed by my girlfriend Alian. Okay. Bom 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 Chico the dog. Bom 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 Chico the dog. Bow wow the merry-go-round is Chico the dog. Bom 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 Chico the dog. Bom 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 Chico the dog. Oh, bow wow the merry-go-round is Chico the dog. Bow wow.
On the internet forever.
Yeah. Yeah, that ruled.
I saw my shot, I took it. I did ask Will whether I could ask about Chico. I didn't mention this song. Manny. Manny Sito.
Portals!
Jordals!
Portals!
Does that still get yelled at you?
Every once in a while, yeah.
Amazing. Manny, you've been, in the last year or so, you've been lurking in scenes you're not in with a film camera.
Yeah, I have.
Talk about that, and when do we get to see what you've been shooting?
Oh, I don't know, maybe soon? No. No, I worked with Drew on his last movie, Bad Times, and Jeff Bridges was he's an adamant photographer, and I kind of got inspired by all that, and I started taking pictures of all these guys, and hopefully, I don't know, maybe by the end of the season, when it's all out, I can put some photos to the public and see what it all kind of looks like behind the scenes and all the glamour and chaos that ensues.
And all of my crude gestures.
Yeah. Every time I take a picture of Jameela, it's just the middle finger. That's all it is.
I've managed to ruin every photograph.
Manny, you got to dance in recent things that we've seen.
Yeah.
Talk about your 60-person dance crew. Did you have a hand in choreographing any of that?
Yeah, we did a full-on performance, and it was almost a dream because that's kind of what I wanted to do before acting, before being on TV and stuff. It was just to dance for an artist and stuff. But And Mike kind of made it happen for me. I was able to dance with all these like legitimate dancers who danced with like Justin Timberlake and Jennifer Lopez, and I was like, wow, this is incredible. So I have Mike to thank for that, which is really cool.
There will be more dancing.
Yes, that's what I
Also, at some point, because they dance, it was season 3, right? They did a whole number that obviously got cut down into other, that should be released, like the full.
Yeah, good point, yeah.
Make that happen. Are you busy? Because you could make that.
Yeah, maybe we'll make that like an internet extra or something.
Yeah, do that.
It was like a 90-second or 2-minute long thing,
It was
right?
pretty long, yeah.
And if you think Manny's hot now, wait till he's dancing, y'all.
Jameela, you were just named one of Time Magazine's 25 most influential people on the internet. Do you think at all that season 4 is the last of The Good Place because you've fully become Tahani?
Yeah. I've gone back to the world. She's reincarnated and her soul has entered me and I've become a wanker.
I mean, it's sort of possible.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I'm morphing into her.
Well, tell everyone who that you just showed me the picture. Who are this? Like, there's 6 people in this picture in Time Magazine.
It's me, AOC, Ariana Grande, my peer, AOC, Ariana Grande. I think
Lil Nas X.
sang that Nas X,
Nas
and our good friend Donald Trump.
That's right.
You guys aren't into him? You guys don't like him?
Wow.
So hopefully that's the last time I will appear in a picture with that person. But it was loads of people of colour in the photo, which I thought was really
great. Drew Goddard, you are Oscar nominated for writing The Martian. You wrote and directed Cabin in the Woods, Bad Times at the El Royale. You created the Daredevil series. You directed the pilot of The Good Place. You directed Dance Dance Resolution, the reboot episode of The Good Place. And you've directed the first 2 episodes in season 4, in upcoming season 4, that I was in. What was that like?
I mean this sincerely, directing Mark is a genuine nightmare. I don't know how much you guys know about method acting, but Mark, I'm sorry, Shawn stays in character the entire time. And he is so mean to me. But you just put up with it because the performance is so spectacular.
I'll take it. I accept.
Mark is, by the way, the hardest person on this set to act opposite because he's the funniest and makes us break and ruin every single take.
You will see that in the gag reel.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Let me interrupt you and mention the words Manny, Jacinto.
Also, very difficult.
I would say, like a little Easter egg would be if you see us in a scene with Manny, look at like our cheeks or where our heads, we're mostly not looking at him. Because if we look at him, then we'll laugh. So usually you can tell by like the back of our head, you can see like a little piece of our cheek, because that means we're just looking at the floor.
Also, you'll see the tightness here, which is us holding a smile, and most of us, I think a lot of us get through it, you'll see
bite your cheek.
That happened because we're all biting the inside of our...
the worst thing, though, is the face that Manny makes just before he's about to, because he always keeps it secret. He never tells us what he's going to fuck us up with. And so he just sits there, and you're unaware of your own face, but he sits there, the take's just about to happen, and he goes... and then you know something horrible is coming, and you're going to ruin the take.
It happened about 2 weeks ago. Oh, go for it.
No, I literally have to make myself laugh first, like look like a, and then I know something's good is coming. Yeah.
Kristin, do you remember about 2 weeks ago when at 7 o'clock in the morning, Manny made Ted cry?
oh my God! Yeah, that was. And you tried to pretend that you weren't.
Oh, it was the best.
It was the absolute best. That was the.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh.
Wait, if you say like the word that it was, would that be a spoiler? that he said that made you guys?
I came into work and I got a report that after 1 hour of shooting, they were 1 hour behind schedule. And I said, why? And they said Manny said something. Manny's line made everybody laugh. And I said, for an hour? And they were like, yeah. And if I remember the scene correctly, we won't spoil it, but he had one line. Yeah. And it was like 12 words, and it was an hour of everyone going, okay, come on, focus. We can do this. And then they were an hour behind.
And you know what? The truth is that it's funny. It's also really irritating because you or I have had like a page and a half monologue that's impossible to memorize, and we're struggling through it, and then Manny goes, boom.
The thing that happened at the end of that, so we tried to regain our composure, and I had a line to Ted, and I looked to Ted to say the line, and you were weeping, and I just stopped, and the director, Rebecca Asher, said, Mark, why have you stopped? And I said, because Ted is crying. And Ted did this. Ted goes, no, I'm not, I'm fine. And he looked at me and he mouthed, he goes, I'm not on camera. And Rebecca goes, Ted, we have you in the wide. And he goes, anyway, Drew, what was it like having directed the pilot and now, getting to where we are there surprises, are there things that you wouldn't have been able to anticipate about the evolution of the show from the beginning?
I mean, the truth is the show has always been there with Mike. When Mike first pitched the series, the core of it has always been the same. And even then you told me it had an expiration date and we would only do a few seasons. And I have spent the last 4 years trying to talk you out of that. And I've failed terribly. I'm sorry to all of you because yeah, it is my fault. Yeah. But no, the show's always been there. I mean, it evolves. This cast continues to transcend every single year. You just reach new heights, and it's a joy. But it's always been the same show at its core.
Pretty great show. I want to talk a little bit about directing and about the culture of the show. Mike, in this final season, season 4, there are some interesting new directors that got the nod. Valeria Collins, our script supervisor, who was a script supervisor on Parks and Rec, and I think even a Brooklyn or two. And on various things, you gave Valeria the nod to direct. Steve Day, our first assistant director, one of our first assistant directors, long time he directed an episode, and then everyone beneath him, all the steps sort of stepped up for a week and were promoted, and that's remarkably cool. It would have been so much easier for you not to do that. Will you please run everything?
Well, part of the joy of a show lasting for a while is that people get to move up and take on new responsibilities, and there's always a little bit of a fear expressed by various people in the machine about people directing, because directing is a huge job, obviously. But in Valeria's case, so she's our script supervisor, which means she tracks continuity, she makes sure that everything is clicking along correctly, that we haven't screwed anything up, we haven't missed a line or whatever. And so if you ask yourself, okay, is she ready to direct an episode of TV? My answer would be she's the script supervisor and continuity person on the Fast and Furious movies. True. So picture that in your head for a second. Picture one small human woman responsible for making sure that those action sequences all are legible to the human brain, that the car crashes and the fist punching and the chaos and whatever has all been like that. You've gotten every piece of that. I feel like she can handle one episode of The Good Place. And Steve Day, same thing. Steve Day is an assistant director he was an assistant director on Parks and Rec and on Last Man on Earth with Mary Steenburgen, and he is very frequently, I would say you guys would agree with me, the only person on the set who actually knows what's going on.
100%.
Yeah. So, like that, the fun of this to me is that there are people who are bursting at the seams, who are so obviously ready to take on new challenges and do new things, and then they get to do them because we have a production team led by Morgan Sackett, our executive producer.
Oh, it's his birthday today.
Morgan's here and hates attention, so everyone just clap and cheer for Morgan. This production team has now been in place since 2007, and we have like a really solid foundation, and then people get to stretch their wings. It's wonderful. It's one of the best parts of the job. It's with writers, with actors. Guess who else directed this year? Kristin Bell.
Yeah! What I want to say, what I wanted to say the whole time you were talking is that I want to tell you what the biggest lesson that I've learned from Mike Schur is that the best part about Mike is not actually that he's super ethical and he's an amazing comedy writer. The biggest lesson I've learned from him is he knows how to empower people around him. And I will take that away forever to my grave as a huge life lesson. For real. It's astounding how much you can look at other people around you and say, wow, I see so much potential in you. How can I lift you up? And that is why our set is so fun to work on, and that is why we run so smoothly. And it's because you see potential in people and you hand out opportunities left and right. Yeah.
Also, it's the only set I've ever been on or really ever heard of where you have pretty much 50-50 female writers and male writers, 50-50 female directors and male directors. And as a woman on set, it feels so amazing to look out onto your set and see so many people who you identify with. And so thank you for creating that space for us.
Well, I've said this before, it'll be the end of this stuff that we talk about all the time now is when we're not talking about it anymore. So let's do this for like 30 years and eventually get to the point where no one has to be amazed that 50% of the directors on a TV show.
And by the way, it isn't talked about on set, which is amazing. Nobody talks about it. It just is. And it's just been. It's always been. It always is. Nobody notices. It just is the way it is. And it's fucking great.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Forking. She said forking. Great.
And as the token old white man, I want to thank you. I appreciate it.
Right behind you, brother. Right behind you.
You need one, you know? You need one. Because otherwise they get grouchy and they start complaining at the press.
Kristin, you did direct an episode. It went aggressively smoothly.
So well.
You gave very good notes.
Too well? It almost went too well.
Yeah. I mean, we moved scenes up from the next day into the day. I'm just worried that word's going to get out.
I'm going to get in trouble because I'm too fast of a director. That's what I kept saying all week. Because having a director who's decisive was always my favorite thing. And so when I was given this opportunity, I was like, all you got to do is know your decisions. You got to come in prepared. And I feel like I did, and I had so much fun directing all of you. I mean, I already feel like I'm pretty bossy around you guys. Like, I'm already... I lean in a lot, and I'm not gonna apologize for it. But I had fun wearing the actual hat, where instead of just ignoring me, you guys had to listen.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
It was fun. You did a very sweet thing where you huddled us beforehand on the first day and just said, like, if I'm not giving you something that you're after, let me, like, don't let our familiarity get in the way, or...
Right. Yeah, don't, yes. that was very important to me because when you're switching jobs, I mean, again, I've never done it before, so I would imagine that if things are crossing over because of friendships or we're peers, and then now I have this weird little bit of control, I didn't want to let anything get in the way, so I just said very candidly, if I'm not giving you something that you need and you get something from other directors, please let me know, and I hope that I adjusted accordingly.
You gave us what we needed.
So quickly.
Thanks, girl.
Darcy Carden, the episode Janet's. That's all. That was it.
That's fine.
Nominated for writing.
Yes.
Giant oversight for acting.
No.
Yes.
Josh Siegel and Dylan Morgan wrote that episode, and Morgan Sackett directed that episode, and it was such a collaborative experience, including with my castmates who, you didn't see them much in the episode, but they were there and helpful. It was amazing.
May I ask you one specific question?
Yes.
You said that various cast members, obviously they performed their performance and you recorded it and that sort of thing. You said that Will typed out his lines the way. Right. Do you do that for yourself every episode, Will?
When I get a particularly dense piece of text, I stack the language. So I basically take an idea take the idea and put it on one line. Take the next idea, put it on that line. So I can get through it as a sort of narrative piece rather than just jamming the words in. I don't know if it helped.
It helped!
Oh, good.
Because Janet doesn't usually have long speeches like that, and Chidi does, and it is hard to memorize, and it helped me so much. Everybody gave me a little something like that in a secretive little way without even talking to me.
I just gave you cake.
You gave me donuts, and it was great. That's great. That's a great thing to give someone.
To fuel her.
Yeah. And it was really, just like everything else on the show, it was incredibly positive and collaborative and, truly one of the best experiences of my life. So, and
Cool. I'm sorry. I know you're not supposed to talk about stuff like this, but imagine that your job is to make a list of the best supporting actress performances on television. And then imagine you watch that episode, and then imagine you think, yeah, just not top 5. Imagine that. Imagine how crazy a human being you would have to be to not... I know. Look. Art is subjective, and to each his or her own. I understand it. I will never understand Darcy Carden not getting nominated for an Emmy for that performance.
We are nearing the end of our time together. It's time now for your questions. Line up however it needs to be done, and again, please keep your questions brief. Yes, please begin.
Hey, Janet.
Hey, Janet. Okay, let's...
Darcy Carden should be Emmy nominated. Darcy Carden. That is a factual statement. Could you please describe the experience of playing Janet as Eleanor, and Eleanor playing Janet, playing you, and all the layers of Janet? That is the question.
Hello, sisters.
We are sisters.
Oh, cool. I know, we are sisters. That's why I said it. I will just say, I don't really know how to describe it other than, I'll just say, I have lived with these actors and I've lived with these characters for so long, and I'm such a gigantic fan of the show that it wasn't as hard. It just was. I don't know how to describe it. I don't.
How to
but
what?
I do know.
You don't know how to what?
I don't know how to. But I know that Mark told me that he thought I didn't do a very good job in that part. Will you say that?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
It's a compliment. Hang on. I was watching the episode and when it aired the first time, and just marveling at how it wasn't like you were impersonating the cast. It really felt like you were becoming the cast. And then there was just one thing where you were doing Jason, and it was like, oh, it's not a great Jason. And then I was like, wait, that's not Jason. That's Eleanor pretending to be Jason. And it was perfect.
Yeah, that means there's a couple like ways to know if it worked, and that's one way. And another way that I found out that episode worked is after the episode aired, Kristin called me and said, I'm going to say something embarrassing, but she said, I'm so proud of you, I feel like my milk's coming in. So then I was like, okay, good, I guess it worked. It's hard to tell for me, but I guess that means it worked, so that was great.
The highest compliment.
Yeah. Thank you, sisters.
Thank you. Next question.
Fantastic. Hi, guys.
What does your shirt say?
It says, I met the almighty burrito at San Diego Comic-Con 2018, and all I got was this forking shirt.
Yes!
So, as the show is coming to an end, what I wanted to know is if you could spin off any minor character,
Shawn,
who would you?
Next question.
Next.
I agree.
Yeah, truly, actually.
Yeah.
Please continue your question. I'm sorry.
Who would you pick?
I think we all vote Shawn, right?
Yeah. With a small runner-up of Pillboy.
And Vicky has to be in it.
The list gets long, right?
I definitely think that there's a very funny and also sad show about Donkey Doug Pillboy and Danson's Resolution and set in Jacksonville. And I think there's a very weird David Lynchian type of show about Derek.
Yeah.
Just like floating through space and time, showing up in like atomic bomb explosions, like Bob, like just being released into the ether. And of course Shawn. He's staring at me, so I'll say also Shawn. Would be good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What are you going to do with that eyebrow?
This is my buddy, by the way. This guy right here, Jeremy. This is a great dude. He lives in New York, and he's a producer, and he's dope. And thanks for coming out, man.
Yay!
Thank you so much, man.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Sophia, and I just wanted to say that this is one of my favorite shows. And my question for all of you is, who's your favorite Janet?
Sophia. Is that right, Sophia? Sophia? Is that your name?
Yeah.
Ted, don't you like it when little kids watch our show?
Sophia, how old are you?
9.
Oh, that's my daughter's 9. You like the show a little more than her, I think.
Sophia, you have great taste.
Yeah. I'm going to jump in and say, bad Janet, I love her. I love a fart joke, though. So. Who I am.
I'm going to agree with you. I love a good fart joke. Bad Janet.
I kind of love Neutral Janet. Neutral Janet really makes me laugh that she ends everything by announcing that it's ending. End of statement, end of sentence. That really made me laugh. That was the last addition to the Janet's episode, was we were like, in addition to having Darcy play all of her castmates, we're also going to just throw in by the way, there's a Neutral Janet too. And then we loved it so much we just kept going back to it. There may be, I'll hit little potential hint of something. You may meet a new Janet this year.
That's a scoop, baby.
You might. I'm not saying you will. I'm saying you might.
You might.
No, you will.
If you meet her, that might also be my favorite Janet.
Yeah. Thank you. We love you.
Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you for watching.
No, next question. One of my favorites was your description, Darcy, of playing neutral Janet, which was, you said you just let all your face meat hang.
Yeah. that checks out. That's right. Hello.
Hi. My question's for Michael. If the characters or cast of The Good Place were baseball characters, which would be most likely to achieve a fam or a scooter?
Oh my God. You guys, this is like the deepest cut of all deep cuts in like my life. This is one of the weirdest moments of my life. Thank you for this. Literally just trying to explain what he means would take another hour. And then I'd have to come up with the answer.
But you're the only person at this table who could.
Oh, I mean, I know it's impossible. I have to think about it for so long. Listen, meet me outside after. I'll give you my email address, and you and I will have a long, fruitful conversation about
Here we go.
Kristin already touched on this. What do you want to take from this project to future projects? Because it's an amazing cast and the lovely way you guys do things.
Ted's the only one who has a future. Maybe he should answer.
Yeah.
What was the question? I think the answer is Morgan Sackett.
Yeah.
Besides all the people, if we can't choose the people.
Just maybe something, the way you worked on it, or just something that you got out of this show that you want to take to everything you work on from now on.
I mean, I literally learned how to act on this show, so that's it. I'll just hopefully keep knowing how to do that.
I keep throwing this back because to me, I wake up, try to remember my words, and I mean literally, that are delicious, and I try to remember them, and then I pick up the script. That was funny, but I always go back to the writing, and you can't write about decency and what it means. I'm gonna start crying again.
I know. Just
you can't write about decency and what it means to be a good person and how to lead a life and their consequences unless you truly understand that and lead a life like that. So
yeah,
it's been an honor that I think, because I've been so busy trying to remember your lines, that will catch up with me as I go through life. You are an inspiration, for real.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello. So, about the Emmy thing, it took Tatiana Maslany like a long time to get an Emmy, so keep going. And my question, how do you choose the philosophers? Like, Chidi has all these philosophers that he dates back on. How do you choose?
I did a lot of reading before writing the show, and didn't understand most of it, and then I got two very smart people who do understand it, named Pamela Hieronymi, who teaches at UCLA, and Todd May, who teaches at Clemson. And they're wonderful. There are philosophy advisors, and they help me understand the basics. And they were the ones who was like, okay, I would describe Chidi and his issues and his problems and what he believes about the world, and they would say, okay, well, he's a Kantian. This is what Kantians believe, and then they would, they helped me sort of put specific thinkers to the personalities of the characters. And then I hired a very smart staff full of people who are brilliant and interesting, and they would do their own reading. And Todd May came to us because one of our writers, Dan Schofield, was like, hey, I was poking around and I found this book called Death, And it's about the problem of hilarious beach read, as Chidi said, or Eleanor says, and he said this is a book about how hard it is to lead a moral life if you're immortal, because nothing means anything, and that led us to Todd. And so much of it is just, it's a group effort, and it's a bunch of us who understand things roughly at a sort of Wikipedia entry level, poking around and trying to find great thinkers who have put our sort of thoughts about the characters into actual writings and stuff. And the trolley problem is a famous one. Pam Hieronymi teaches the trolley problem in her philosophy class at UCLA. The trolley problem was invented by a woman named Philippa Foot. She was a British philosopher in the 60s, and she wrote some wonderful books that you actually can read. Hers you can actually read. And so it's sort of one thing leads to another. Like we stumbled on stuff, and that led us to something else and something else and something else. And as soon as the show's over, it's all going to just fly away. Right? I'm going to retain nothing. But this is a long-winded way of saying it was just we had a lot of help. I had a lot of help.
My English teacher,
I have the heartbreaking.
We'll never know we could just use our imaginations.
I have the heartbreaking duty to say that we have time for one more question.
This message is for Kristin. How would your character Eleanor interact with Veronica Mars?
Anyone seen it yet? No. The new one.
The new one.
All of them?
Anyone? They're
okay.
Great.
You're all right? Okay, good. How would Eleanor interact with Veronica? That's kind of a no contest. Veronica would slay Eleanor so bad she would drag her. And Eleanor would barely survive. But I think after Veronica really gave her what for, Eleanor would have mad respect for Veronica and be a part of her crew.
Yeah.
Would there be a physical attraction?
Big time, for sure.
Mike Schur, thank you for the good place.
Listen, thank you. Proper thanks for the good place goes to about 1,000 people, so just chill out, all right? Just simmer down. Like every great thing in this world, it's collaborative. There are a very, very large number of people who deserve thanks, starting with the cast, and Drew Goddard and Mark Evan Jackson and Morgan Sackett, and everybody who works on the show. It's a real pleasure to have made it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. The reason is friends. Please join me in thanking Manny Jacinto, Darcy Carden, Jameela Jamil, William Jackson Harper, Kristin Bell, Emmy nominee Ted Danson, Drew Goddard, and Mike Schur.